Live in Western Oregon, this is NBC 16 News at 5.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Jacqueline Mazer. Now we do begin with breaking news tonight. At least 2 children are injured after a jet ski crash on Foster Lake in Sweet Home. The fire chief says one child is in critical condition, the other in serious condition. They're both under 10 years old. The fire chief also says at least 4 other people are injured. There's an investigation underway to determine exactly what happened. We do have a reporter and photographer headed to the scene. We will have more information online at NBC16.com and later tonight on NBC 16 at 11. Well, we're learning new information tonight about a Eugene police officer who resigned while under investigation by Salem detectives. We have yet to confirm the officer's name, but we know the officer was placed on leave the same day a woman shared, quote, concerning information about contact she had with the officer on the day prior on May 28th. Now this, according to the Eugene Police Department, who issued a statement saying the officer later resigned June 10th amid an investigation into the officer by the Salem Police Department. Lane County DA Patty Perlow says the findings were sent to her office last week, and the case is pending a grand jury review for possible charges. Senator Jeff Merkley introducing legislation with Senator Ron Wyden to block federal officers in Portland. Now, so far, there are 12 co-sponsors representing states across the country. Here's a look at the proposed legislation. It would require individual and agency identification on officer uniforms and prevent unmarked vehicles from being used in an arrest. The legislation would also limit federal agents' crowd control activities to federal property and its immediate vicinity unless specifically requested by both the mayor and governor, and require disclosure on an agency website within 24 hours of deployment, specifying the number of personnel and purposes of deployment. Additionally, arrests in violation of these rules would be against the law. City leaders, neighbors, protesters, and officers are bracing for another potential night of violence in Portland. Overnight, protesters and federal officers clashed near the federal courthouse. Portland police say they were not involved in the response last night. Around 1:30 in the morning, federal officers pushed protesters away from the building using tear gas and pepper balls. Police say people lit a fire in front of the building while others tampered with a security camera. Well, this week, a protester beaten and pepper sprayed by federal officers will have surgery due to his injuries. Navy veteran Chris David suffered a broken hand in 2 places. He tells CNN this was his first protest. David says he was enraged to see federal officers in Portland and wanted to ask them directly why they were there. Instead, he was attacked. Portland police tell CNN they were not involved, and neither was Customs and Border Protection. The Department of Homeland Security and U.S. Marshals, meantime, have not responded. Until further notice, no law enforcement, including Portland police, are allowed to use Portland fire stations for tactical operations. The new directive from Fire Commissioner Joanne Hardesty is a response to rumors that federal officers were using fire stations for operations. Portland Fire says that's not true. This new policy is being implemented to avoid confusion. In the past, some Portland police were allowed to use their stations. However, that no longer rings true. And we'd like to hear your thoughts. So head over to our Facebook page, KMTR News, and let us know what you think. Do you support the presence of federal agents on the streets of Portland? Please do vote and leave your comments on the post. We'll revisit this question and find out what you're saying soon. Well, lawyers say a family is preparing to file a lawsuit against Seattle over the death of a teenager at the Chop Zone. 19-year-old Lorenzo Anderson was shot 1 month ago along the edge of the Capitol Hill occupied protest zone. Seattle police say they could not get to the shooting scene because of a violent crowd, and without police, Seattle medics could not enter the Chop to reach him. Volunteer medics rushed Anderson to the hospital, but he died of his wounds. Lawyers representing Anderson's family say they plan to sue the city for his wrongful death. They claim city leaders created a, quote, dangerous environment. Well, the Eugene City Council is having a work session on police funding. Members will review public safety funding as a result of the ongoing demands from the community on racial justice and police reform. The work session starts tonight at 5:30. You can watch the meeting live or listen in on your phone on the city's website. That's eugene-or.gov. Well, some good news now in the battle against the virus and the race for a vaccine. Early results from a trial at Oxford University suggest the treatment is both safe and effective. The trial included more than 1,000 people. Everyone who got the vaccine saw an antibody and T-cell response to the drug. Researchers think this is key in controlling COVID-19.
We see people who've recovered from a COVID illness who have essentially no measurable antibodies, but do have T cells. So the guess there is that the T cells have been important in helping them to clear their infection.
More research is needed before the vaccine is confirmed to be effective. This trial is just one of 23 different COVID-19 vaccines in clinical trials around the world. Statewide, the Oregon Health Authority reports 277 new confirmed and presumptive cases and 2 new deaths. The state has now seen more than 14,800 cases and 262 deaths. Multnomah is still in the lead, reporting the most cases in the state with 85, followed by Umatilla with 41 and Washington with 38. Lane County has the most cases in our region with 399. 59 people are infected. 1 is hospitalized. People between 21 to 30 years old are reporting the most cases in Lane County with 110 total. Well, on Saturday, Lane County saw its highest single-day spike of 40 new coronavirus cases, and today, health officials reported another 15. Contact tracing helped discover these new numbers. The concern is the recent spike is not from infections within the community, but rather people from outside the area or traveling outside the region, bringing it back with them. Public Health describes the situation in Lane County as late bloomers, meaning we're seeing an escalation months later. This doesn't mean we should panic, though. Instead, Public Health is shifting its message. Officers are urging the problem is a combination of travel followed by exposure to the virus by small groups close to the person that, doesn't social distance or wear masks.
If you think that, okay, I'm going to wear a mask into a grocery store because that's what I'm told to do, but I'm not going to wear a mask to my movie night with my 5 friends, but we are under the limit of 10, so therefore we're safe. That's not true at all. You're still having close contact for an extended period of time with people who are outside of your household.
Davis reassures this doesn't mean you can't travel and be with friends and family. You just have to be extra careful about where you go and who you let into your inner circle. If you do travel, the best way to keep safe is to stay as local as possible while visiting spots that aren't crowded. Keeping these safety measures in mind will help reduce your risk of exposure. More testing is available for the community this week. Tomorrow, there will be free testing at Maggie Osgood Library in Lowell, starting at 1:30 p.m. and until 4:30. Lane County Public Health is asking people to bring their insurance cards. However, the tests are free regardless of insurance status. Well, phase 1 of the Territorial Highway program is getting underway just south of Gillespie Corners. It's a $5 million project to soften the sharp and winding sections of a road called Stony Point. Crews are also going to fix 3 different landslides in a half-mile section of road. The work includes a new retaining wall to be constructed across the largest slide area.
This is one of our largest earth-moving projects in recent history, especially for only being 2,500 foot of lineal road length. This is a massive undertaking and a heavy lift for Lane County.
Plans also call for widening and repaving the roadway. During construction, the road will remain open with at least 1 lane for travel. People traveling by bicycle are strongly advised to look for alternate routes. The landslide area will be excavated and replaced with soil and flexible mesh material to better reinforce the land. Well, coming up next on NBC 16 at 5, if you're receiving unemployment checks, you could be seeing less money in your bank account, a decision affecting millions of Americans nationwide. Plus, a petition to deliver hard alcohol is circulating in Portland. What obstacles OLCC is facing.
I'm sexy and I know it.